Okay. The four,
Line 18 and 19.
on the assumption page, those are coming from CalPERS. I asked CalPERS, our town actuary, to do a 5-year projection based on their information where our town's CalPERS employee rate will be from 2013, 2012 all the way to 2016. And currently, Greg, if you look at 2013, the assumption is showing 40.106%, and that's what actually you can look at it a realistic or unrealistic number, because currently in 2012 we are paying 38.8% of
38% of what?
of the employee's salary. If you go to the budget, if you would go to page 33. If you look at the middle column, it's a employer PERS, and you saw a number 38.38853. That is what we are required to contribute on the safety's payroll for next fiscal year, and that rate is set.
So it's 40% of the salary, or 38.8?
Exactly. And this model that you are looking at from 2013 to 2016, going from 40 to 45%, this is also with the assumption that CalPERS is going to make their 7.75% investment return.
Which is optimistic.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope it's not optimistic. I mean, they're taking a lot of risks. They should be compensated for it. They average 8% for many years.
Yeah, they're gambling with our money, though.
No, I don't know if it's a gamble. I don't agree it's a gamble. I think if you invest long-term, like my pension plan, I have 70% equities, and I don't think I'm gambling. And that's what they have. And if they don't do a good job, then they should get different managers.
Well,
that might be.
Let's focus on the parts that we can.
Well, no, the part that we're focusing on is a 40% increase. And I'm saying I think that we need to figure out somewhere it's unsustainable.
it is unsustainable. Well,
Yeah,
you know, what the PERS figures show here is that we're heading to where the employer is going to have to pay, or no, it's employer-employee total, I guess, has to pay about 45% of the pay. So if somebody's paid $100,000, we'll have to put in not only $45,000 there, but with GASB adds another 25%. You know, that is the provision for post-employment health care. So that you put these together, and what it says, if I understand it correctly, is for every $1,000 of pay, at least for safety employees, we will have to put aside
60.
70.
Well, that's what this, if you add these numbers up here, isn't that what those numbers add up to about? You got 16%, 45%, then 10%, 2, 5, and those, all these miscellaneous. I assume those are all tied to payroll, are they all?
yes, it's a percentage of.
So what is the total of all the payroll percentages? Is it 100%? That's what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying I add up just the PERS figures and the GASB 45 provision for post-retirement.
Well, no, but she's got 10% here. Is that GASB or is it the 10% for medical?
That one is just for premium increase.
Which?
Premium increase
For
from
active
one year to
employees.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
I see. Those are just, these are just increase. Well, they can't be increased.
Yeah, those are increase.
10%.
Yeah.
Well, no, but the 45% is not an increase.
45% is we are projecting what we would have to pay in 2016 for safety as a percentage of payroll for employees.
Right. Well, is it the 10% also a percentage of what you'd have to pay?
10% is 10% of the medical premium. See, the retirement is a percentage of payroll. Medical, that 10% is 10% increase on your premium.
Yeah. But then for the GASB 45 required reserve, at least somehow I extracted from these figures, is like 25% of pay.
Yeah, if you go to, if you are looking at GASB 45, and you will go to the projection, we're jumping over to the 5-year
What page?
a separate one, not on this budget.
Okay. Well, yeah, look, it has to be 45 required annual contribution in 2016 on item 6 is 1,292,000, and salaries and wages are 5,094,000.
And that's assuming no increase in this projection.
Right. Yeah. This is also optimistic, but no criticism there. They're just thank you for giving us a number to chew on. So if you take 1, 2, 2, divide by 5,094,585, then you get 25%. So what I mean is if somebody's paid us $100,000, then we're going to have to put aside $25,000 that year for post-retirement health care, as well as $45,000 for retirement.
And these are huge, and that doesn't, I mean, these overheads don't include vacation. So if you take vacation into account, you're adding another 10%, probably an average. Whereas in the private sector, when you look at salaries and you look at overheads associated with salaries, you're generally looking at about 30%.
Yeah.
Total.
Right.
And therefore, this is an item that we're going to have to do some hard work on, because these are not, in my mind, acceptable numbers.
Well, how can we deal with it with CalPERS? Aren't we locked in?
We don't deal, no, we're not.
There's been discussion about converting at least to a hybrid defined benefits and defined
These
contributions.
are total costs that we have to pay, which include employee contributions and our contributions. So the amount that we have to pay as opposed to the employee is one of the things we're going to be discussing when we get into these negotiations.
I understand. But we don't have an option as far as what, in total, between, if you add the two together, we have to pay CalPERS whatever,
Yes.
unless we get out of CalPERS. I don't know whether we have that option, but.
That's
And unfortunately, if less optimistic investment returns emerge, then they'll come back and tax us more. So in our figuring what we can afford in the future, we have to allow for that. Because I don't believe we can count on their getting 7.75.
Well, last year, the S&P index went up 15 to 20%.
Sure, that was coming out of a hole. In the
I
stock
know,
market.
but I mean, it's very positive, I think.
Well, their actuaries didn't think so, and they recommended at least cutting it back to 7.5%.
Well,
And
I
then
can see
for-
that, but I'm just saying that.
And then kind of for political reasons, to do with not wanting to add to the pain of the towns now, then for political reasons, to make it look good, we'll stay with the more optimistic assumption and push that off into the future. So in the future, if the optimism is unjustified, then they'll come back and ask us for more. So I'm just saying, in our thinking about the future, we need to have that in mind. This could be substantially worse.
I'm the eternal optimist, and I
Great.
It's, you know, at the moment, it's very bad. Getting any worse would, of course, be very, very difficult. So, but these are things that we're going to have to actively look at before June. Very simple.
Well, I just, the market was at 14,000 when it crashed, and it's back to 12. So I don't understand why the pension fund is that bad a shape. I mean, they must have been in some high-risk stuff that didn't perform as well as the market.
They were.
Huh?
Real estate.
Real estate.
They got killed. Yeah, but they didn't have a large percentage in there.
Oh, they had hundreds of millions.
Well, yeah, but what percentage of the total? I can't believe they,
Billions.
well, I don't know, that's really the key. I mean, how much were they, what, the different risks? Real estate took a crash, but if they only had 10%, it's not a big deal.
I don't know. I don't know what the...
Right down 24%, something like that?
And I think the real estate was really bad, plus the overall market is the last week, I think lost, even if you are in the Western model, you easily can lose 40 to 50%.
No, well, you gained it back. The market was at 14,000 when it crashed. It's at 12,000 a day. So if you didn't do anything, you'd only suffer a loss of about 15%.
If you were invested in the right things.
Well, if you, just the average market,
Yeah.
just the S&P 500, you don't have to be a
What I'm
genius.
saying, I don't know what they invested in. I know they've lost big numbers, but what percent, they lost big numbers in financing real estate projects which have gone bankrupt.
Is that public? Can we just get that off the web someplace?
It is on the web.
Well, but, you know,
In the
is that really important? Because
Well, I think if we're gonna make assumptions and we're not happy with them, then I think we have a basis for saying, look, if you're in 25% real estate, no wonder we're in the tank. I mean, you-
Yeah, but I think the point here is that you take these historical numbers, we take their projections, and we apply that to our financial model and say, is it affordable? Is it affordable for the next 20 years? And I think that's the course that I'm going down, is saying, I don't know if the market's gonna get better or get worse. But I have a worst case scenario that if we don't fund that, we're in real trouble.
Well, but Alan's saying he's not sure the projections are realistic if you rely on them, so that's,
Well,
Well, I'm saying, I don't think we can, we just have to take in the moment, rightly or wrongly, the council's projections.
I agree.
Now, you know,
right,
if they're wrong, I think this whole thing boils down to the fact that in our financial world, increasing our reserves are going to help us under all circumstances, including any changes in coffers. So I think that's one of the things we have to concentrate on, and clearly, there's a lot of work to be done. John and his team and Louise have a whole lot of work to be done. And my recommendation, even though I'm not sure it applies for the finance committee at the moment, Louise is doing a great job, but you know, she needs help. She's working. I've talked to Louise at 7:30 at night here, and my feeling is she's overburdened, and I would just recommend to our interim city manager that he needs to look at that, because we're going to need a lot of work by Louise in the finance department in the next month, and I would certainly hope that Louise could get some additional help.
and if I can follow up on that, is that in addition to spending money wildly in this budget and inappropriately, I think in a lot of ways, is that we are looking at realistically in right staffing in worse areas where we may be overstaffed, areas where we're grossly understaffed. And I think we've already discussed putting in an additional finance person in at a particular level with maybe some supplemental help and some other administrative help, where I think that we're being penny wise and pound foolish. Is you know, not having HR support, not having risk management support. I think that's not a good way to run an airline. So I will be suggesting some additional costs, but I'm going to have to balance that out with cost savings elsewhere.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, just go on, the reading over the next 3 years, our annual expenses are going to increase almost 700,000, and the big chunks are active, the increases are active medical, where I think we need to figure out a defined contribution model that doesn't grow unsustainably.
Where are you looking at that, Alan?
I just took the 5-year projection and
Yeah,
subtracted,
okay, 5 year, okay.
2012 from 2015 to look for the increases, to say where are the big increases that we're heading for. Safety pensions increased by 108,000, but GASB 45 increases by 247,000. And that, of course, is a present value, and so it's based on a projection. And I really think we need to agree on some kind of capped defined contribution there. It's what we did at Stanford, for example, where I remember the provost getting up and saying to the faculty and staff, look, we've only got so much money for paying people, and all this health care comes out of that, and it's getting bigger and bigger. We'd like to have a little money left over so we can pay some of you raises. And, oh, well, yeah. And so we converted to a model that where the university's contribution is based on a projected formula, and the formula increases no more than the annual increase in total employee compensation. So we're paying, each year 3 or 4% more than last year per employee. It'll go up like that instead of like the 8%.
And what,